Good day. Ira Epstein with your Spider ETF wrap-up, and this wrap-up is for Monday, the 25th of July, 2022. So now we got into the interesting time. This has all been the lead up to it. So we get the FOMC meeting on Wednesday. GDP numbers come out on Thursday. In between then, we're getting lots of earnings. Walmart just came out. They're down in the aftermarket 9.5%, 10%. So they've cut their forward guidance. The question is that going to be others? You got LVMH reporting this week. What are the high-end boys going to do? That's going to be a question. And of course, then we have Meta and the others coming at you as well. We've already seen Snap. Are the big advertising companies going to be in trouble as well? Has the market discounted it? You have a battle going on between the banks, with one of the big banks saying, hey, the worst of the markets looks to us like it's getting behind us, and the second half of the year is going to be better, the latter part coming up now. Others are saying, no, that's not the case at all. You're going to be well into 2023 before the Fed takes its foot off the brake. The other argument, we're getting a 75 basis point hike. That seems to be the consensus for Wednesday, and people are already arguing, well, are they going to go back to a 50 basis point hike for September? The stupidity of the argument, and that's how I view it, is we have a lot of economic data between July 25th and the next FOMC meeting in September. How could people decide that, okay, the worst is behind it? Energy prices, I get, but they can go back up like that. Did you see Jeff Curry today on CNBC from Goldman? He still thinks you're going right back on WTI to 125. He's explaining where the cash is to the futures. The futures are at a discount to the cash. He sees the backwardation in the market, but so what? He said, the two come together. Either the cash is wrong or the futures. He's thinking that where it's all wrong is the futures. Today you saw natural gas prices soar. It's nice to look at the hot weather, but it's more than that. In Russia, the Nord Stream 1 pipeline has been cut by Russia. Again, Gazprom notified it that, hey, we got problems with another one of our turbines. By the way, Russia hasn't given permission for the turbine that's been sitting in Germany now for days to be sent to Russia. Why would they? The crippling force is Russia is going to hurt the Euro countries that rely on them for fuel. That's what they're after. So you're not going to be able to refuel the supplies. Why would U.S. natural gas keep declining? Because as soon as this Freeport terminal in Texas gets repaired, that could be the end of the year, but we're already, folks, coming into August. I don't know how fast they can get it done. You're going to lose 16% of your flow. It's going right back to Europe, if not more. So you've got a floor coming in, plus we have our own winter coming. So a lot of things going on here. But earnings season, GDP Thursday, FOMC Wednesday, we have our hands full, and it's a difficult time in the markets. Now, as I said, Meta. You can see how Meta has set back. The question traders have to ask themselves, this sideways action, let's call it the 155, 156 area right through here, is that going to be enough to hold the market? Or is the market going to try to, from here, flip back through and go back up? That's going to be the whole question that this thing is going to go on as a chartist. You can see how the market had a vertical price rise. It has gone from 157.28 right on up here to 183.85 and just lost $20 like that. But we know that part of that is Snap. We saw how bad they did, and the question is, are they going to do just as poor? The market is back down and fighting it now again at what I call the line in the sand, the 18-day average of closes. Why? Chartists like reference points. And at the end of the day, you like to know what's a neutral number. Now, whether you agree with me it's the 18-day moving average of closes or a 20 or a 21, do I really care? I don't. It's in this zone that I care. I like the 18. You can see how the 200, by the way, this isn't the 200, that's the 50. I can see I was on the phone with somebody as I was typing. That's the 50, the 100, and then the 200. And all the market did is rally into that resistance right up in combination with what? The Bollinger Band. Remember, Bollinger Bands will keep a market trading within them 95% of the time. Now, what we did have in the market was narrowness in the band. It tried to push itself to the upside, and this is a failure. It's pulled right back into the neutral zone, but it's not a total failure. To be a total failure, you got to get back under this number, the 152.28. Haven't done that just yet. And momentum, which got overbought, I view in slow stochastics, any reading over 70 is overbought. Embedding gets you out of overbought and locks in an uptrend if you're over 80 for several days in a row in both of the red and the blue numbers. You didn't do that. The market's got a tendency to not embed. It gets up to overbought and let's go. Gets up, let's go. So you have to look at that. But for me, I was telling my traders, because people were asking me, I said, I think that's a resistance point. I think you got to wait. And once we saw a snap, I don't want to hang around now. I don't know what to do. I'm getting ultra bearish on AMC for the long haul. Short term, it's out of its uptrend. If you can't make money and sock the money away now, what are you going to do? And don't tell me that nope, the new, according to ComScore, the number one box office draw is going to be a blockbuster. It isn't. So we're at a quiet time. We're going to pick up movies as we come to the end of the summer. There's another round. And as they come, we'll see how well this can do. But this whole up leg has come to an end. And now the market's going to go into what I call a chop. And notice where it stopped. Again, right at that 18-day average, that line in the sand, trying to figure out what to do next. Apple announced, with something very rare that they do, excuse me there, they're going to give a discount to Chinese buyers. Now, it is rare. I don't remember the last time that happened, but that's to jumpstart the sale and get rid of the stock of iPhone 13s that they have, is the 14s right around the corner. I promise you I'm going to be one of the first persons out there that if the phone gets reasonable reviews to get it. And we'll see what happens. Otherwise, I'll get a 13. But if that's the case, but you're in resistance. I teach you here that as markets climb, if you lose the embedded reading, look for the market back to the 18-day average. But on the way up, while that's going on, the pros are buying. I don't know that they're buying at the 100-day average to get back up here to the Bollinger Band in front of earnings this week. I doubt it. So what I think is going on is liquidation in the market. I think the professional money, it's summer, another questionable period with GDP, with the FOMC, with the earnings coming out. People like to step back sometimes. You've had a nice run. You've just come from all purposes under the 130 level. It went up $26. Why not take some money off the table and you take another look to see what's going to happen? Disney's doing nicely. What I'm asking, and I'm going to repeat it, what took it so long? The kids are there. I've asked people. The attendance at the park is through the roof. Disney Plus seems to be getting a lot of good programming. What's taken this so long becomes the question. Would I want to hang around all this earnings? No. Again, you're at the upper Bollinger Band, sideways action, overbought. I think the pros are taking money off the table right now. XLF, overbought into the upper band, not embedded. I think the pros began right here, taking the money off the table. I think you'll have a lot to do in a week. But I think the real professional chartist is coming out of the market here. And he's saying, hey, I've reached targets. I've got the upper band. I'm overbought in the market. I've got all that not me, but they'll say it to themselves. I got all these reports and earnings coming out. Hold on. Take some money off the table, have buying power if something good happens. Does it mean they'll liquidate everything? I don't run your portfolio. I don't know, but I think they'll take a chunk. XLI, this is a vertical price rise that isn't embedded. I would not be hanging around it. So, in summary, I'm saying cash. Haven't said that in a long time. Semiconductors, is that bill going to make it through? Now, we saw the semiconductor companies take a big hit today, and that is because some of the regions in China where they're located have gone into full lockdowns with this COVID again. That will hurt the production there. There's a huge call, rightly so, I want to say this politically, rightly so, to bring back on our shore chip making. Got to do it, okay? We cannot rely on China. It's that simple. They're your enemy. They're not going to help you. Their policy with COVID is insanity. It's nothing short of that. You don't shut down an economy because of COVID. I had COVID. I've still got the cough left, right? Life goes on. The restaurants are full. People are out. You put on a mask, you do what you got to do. You don't shut down. You don't see that going on in other places. And you want to rely on them? What is wrong with us? Okay, so you get up here, fighting that, see what happens. And by the way, I realize the economics of building a chip plant are insane. So shutting down on the U.S. economy and not being able to buy a car because of it, right? XHB. So the home builders have done well, but you are on the verge of losing the embedded reading. If you're not up tomorrow, watch out. You're probably going to lose it, and then you're headed back here. Where's the big resistance? Okay, you see it. It's the combination of the 100-day average and the upper band. You hit it for the first time. Now you started hitting the Bollinger Band here. This is the gravy money up there. I think professional money's coming out of the market right now. Again, let the vote, let's see what Congress can get done. With Manchin out, I don't know what happens. He's got COVID. You heard that too. So I don't know. Some of these votes are going to be very difficult to get through. XLE, the energy, sideways action. But again, what's going to change the equation that we need all this energy? Nothing. And you're not getting more of it. I mean, we're really not producing any more in the U.S. You know, yes, we're getting a couple 100,000 barrels more and we can do some exports, but we're not building refineries. We're not going to build another refinery. Who would do that with all this green talk? So, be it coal, nuclear, there's other ways. But this is not bearishness. This is a market consolidating. I'm fearful you're going to take off to the upside. That's my own guess now through it. In the gold market, a bear market bounce. You lost the embedded reading. I can make an argument you're going back to the 18-day average of closes. Let it go there and restructure itself. GDX, nope, kept with the embedded reading. So you got a breakaway here. You have the gold itself trying to give you a bounce, but you have the miners saying, oh, we got big problems here. And they went down to the Bollinger Band again today. They have been selling these rallies. I've been saying that, and I thought they'd get to the Bollinger Band sooner or later, and they certainly did it. Copper, this rally, where should it peak? Remember the first challenge of the 18-day average? What happens when you lose an embedded reading? Right here. You often go to the 18-day average. That's what you've done. Now let's see how all this economic data comes in. That'll be the fate of copper. AGG, up to the upper band, should have a problem. How often do you stay over a Bollinger Band? 5% of the time. You're overbought. You're not embedded. I think professional money coming out again. Now we get to the UUP, the dollar. Some traders think the dollar is peaked. Okay, and their argument is the Fed's going to do so much, they're going to kill the U.S. economy. Okay, but so are other central banks. But they think those central banks won't do as much as the Fed and that will weaken more on a relative basis. I've given you the argument. You'd have to get over 28.67 to negate the current downtrend. And if it lets go, $28, that's probably a target area, the Bollinger Band. But I think you're going to fight a battle right here for the next few days, right where you're at. Same in FXE. It's just a flip-flop to mirror the other way. Why would you do anything in front of the Fed or the GDP? After that, let's talk. That's when I think the action will pick up in a way that we could have a lot of fun with it. But what are you going to do the morning that they release all this data? And that's what I want to talk to you about. Because I can tell you, I thought this was going to come in there. I can tell you what I think you should be doing. In the morning, I'm going to start talking, and I'm doing it, as you know, right now. I talk to you about what's going on around the world. And we've got all these earnings. We've got all these reports coming out. So by 9 o'clock, I've seen the data. That's Chicago time. And I know the market opens at 8:30. I wait that half hour. I want all the economic reports to come out. They generally finish by 9 a.m. Central Time. Then I'm going to cover 40 charts telling you buy here, sell there. Right now, what am I basically saying as you and I are talking? Go to cash. You're going to tell me you're an investor, you're not a trader. I get it, that my videos don't make sense. I'm a trader, okay? I talk to traders out there. That's why they trade spiders, ETFs. Investors buy the Googles, the Amazons. In fact, they'll probably be looking, in my opinion, that if you get a nice leg to the downside because of something here, they'll say to themselves, and I get their argument, hey, I'm able to come in and buy these fabulous companies, better multiple, dropping away. I want to do that. I'm in that camp too, but not yet. So I'll be talking to you that way. How do you find out more? Go to our website. Go to the research area. To get there, by the way, you can just follow my finger here with your cursor. Come up to the top there. There'll be an icon. Give it a click. It'll take you in there and enjoy. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow.